Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Ethan, and I'm a software engineer at a top tech company in Seattle. From the outside, my life seemed perfect: a successful career and a great family, and two lovely daughters. But in reality, it's just a well-woven lie, masking the pain and struggle inside me. My wife Olivia is at the center of this lie. We met in college when she was full of energy and ambition. However, after marriage, Olivia gradually becomes greedy and selfish, indulge in a lavish lifestyle and a vain social circle. I worked hard day in and day out just to fulfill her never-ending materialistic desires. Every morning I get up at the crack of dawn, arrive at the office before rush hour traffic. I put all my energy into developing new software systems, desire to bring in more profits for the company, which will lead to higher salaries and bonuses. However, no matter how hard I try, I never seem to be able to meet Olivia's expectations. Ethan, look, Sarah's family just bought a new Porsche. Olivia often complains about this. When are we going to replace this piece of shit car? I laughed bitterly at the BMW we had only recently purchased, not knowing how to respond. I knew deep down that even with a new car, Olivia would only be satisfied for a while. Soon it will be on to the next luxury item. However, what hurt me the most was Olivia's betrayal of me. I stumbled upon her inappropriate relationship with Ryan Thompson, a key client of our firm and a tech nouveau riche. I came home from work early that day only to see Ryan's car parked in front of our house. Through the window, I saw them snuggling intimately on the couch. That scene was like a sharp knife, stabbing hard into my heart. Instead of exposing them on the spot, I chose to remain silent. I told myself I had to endure it for the sake of the children. But every time I see Olivia flaunting a luxury gift from Ryan on social media, I all felt a pang of humiliation and anger. My two daughters, Emma and Sophia, seemed to sense the family discord as well. One day, Emma quietly asked me, "Daddy, why is Mommy always with that uncle?" I didn't know how to respond, so I could only force out a smile and change the subject. Watching my daughters grow distant from Olivia was both heartbreaking and helpless. I know they see through Olivia's hypocrisy, but there's nothing I can do to change that. There is an invisible tension and awkwardness in the air at every family gathering. In this stifling family atmosphere, I started looking for an escape online. One night I happened to be searching for information about my father on a genealogy website. My father left home when I was 5 years old, leaving me and my mother behind. I have almost no memory of him, except that my mother always mentioned him in a tone of indifference and resentment. Through this website, I was able to actually contact my cousin Jessica, who lives on the East Coast. Jessica's presence was like a ray of sunshine into my gray life. We began to communicate frequently through email, and her warm words made me feel a long-lost affection. Jessica told me the news that shocked me. "Ethan, your father has been trying to contact you, but was stopped by your mother. He even tried to get visitation rights through the courts, but your mother refused for various reasons." The news put me in a pensive mood. I began to question everything I used to believe. Was my childhood, my impression of my father, based on my mother's lies? This realization made me start to re-examine my life, including my current marriage. "Ethan, you should not have to continue to endure this pain," Jessica wrote in an email. "You deserve a better life. Your father always regretted not being able to rebuild his relationship with you while he was alive. So don't let yourself live with the regret as well." Her words were like a seed that took root in my heart. I began to realize that maybe it was time to make a change. I can't let Olivia's betrayal and vanity ruin my life anymore. Not to mention the fact that my daughters can't grow up in such an environment. I don't want to repeat my father's tragedy, nor do I want my daughters to be like me, growing up in a family full of lies. In my interaction with Jessica, I gradually found my confidence and courage. I started secretly planning how to get out of this mess, and how to get a better future for myself and my daughters. I know that it will be an uphill battle, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to regain my freedom and dignity. The rain in Seattle was still pattering outside the window, but a flame of hope had been lit inside me. I looked out at the Pacific Ocean in the distance and resolved that it was time to end this nightmare. No matter how many difficulties lie ahead, I have to face them bravely, for myself and for Emma and Sophia. Creating a new future. Talking with Jessica gave me courage, but I knew it wouldn't be easy to get out of my current predicament. I need a well-thought-out plan, not only to protect my own interests, but also for Emma and Sophia's future. At this juncture, I remembered my college friend, now a successful attorney, Nathan. I called Nathan and briefly explained my situation. He listened and was silent for a moment, then said, "Ethan, you should have told me earlier, but it's not too late to get started. I'll help you." At Nathan's suggestion, I began secretly collecting evidence of Olivia's cheating and profligacy. I installed hidden cameras to record her private meetings with Ryan. I saved her credit card statements, documenting every huge expense. I even hired a private investigator to follow her every move. At the same time, I began to quietly move assets. I told Olivia that the company was in trouble and might have to take a pay cut, using this as a reason to cut back on household expenses. In fact, I'm saving all my extra money in a secret account. I also bought a small condo on the East Coast, with Jessica's help, as a possible future haven. I've been living on thin ice during this time. Every day when I go home, I have to force a smile and pretend that everything is normal. But late at night, looking at a sleeping Olivia, I was filled with conflict and pain. There was a time when I loved her so much that I would have done anything for her. And now I'm plotting how to leave her. Finally, after almost 6 months of preparation, I felt the time was right. That night, I came home early on purpose and bought Olivia's favorite red wine. When she was filled with joy thinking I was going to surprise her, I calmly said, "Olivia, we need to talk?" I laid all the evidence I'd gathered on the table: photos, videos, bills. Olivia's face went from surprise to fear and finally settled on anger. "I can't believe you've been spying on me," she screamed. "No, Olivia," I replied calmly. "I'm just protecting myself and our daughter." The next scene was more intense than I expected. Olivia starts with a denial, then a plea, and finally a threat. She said I couldn't live without her and that I was ruining the family. Even threatened to make me lose my job and custody of my daughter. But this time, I didn't back down. I told her that I had decided to get a divorce and that I had enough evidence on hand to put her at a disadvantage in the divorce proceedings. "If you want a decent breakup and to save your face in the social circle, take my offer," I said. "Otherwise, I don't mind making this evidence public." Olivia sat paralyzed on the couch, tears coming to her eyes. At that moment, I almost went soft. But then I remembered the years of humiliation and pain, and the disappointed looks in Emma and Sophia's eyes. I knew I had to stay the course. The next few weeks are a tough tug-of-war. Olivia tries to redeem herself in the beginning, when she suddenly becomes considerate and even offers to give up luxuries. But I had made up my mind not to give her any more chances. When Olivia realized there was no way to change my decision, she began to become hysterical. She threatened to kill herself and expose my domestic violence, even though it was a complete fabrication. Even threatened to hurt Emma and Sophia. I had to take legal action and file a restraining order to protect myself and my children. My biggest concern during this process was Emma and Sophia's reaction. But to my surprise, they seemed relieved when I told them I was divorcing my mom. "Daddy, we've known for a long time that Mommy doesn't love you," Emma said, tears in her eyes. "We just didn't know what to tell you." Sophia added, "We'd rather be with you, Dad. Mom only cares about her bags and parties." It was both comforting and heartbreaking to hear my daughter's words. I hugged them and promised that no matter what happened, I would always love and protect them. Eventually, with Nathan's help, we reached a divorce settlement. I agreed to give Olivia a sizable alimony payment, but retained ownership of the house and most of the assets. Most importantly, I gained primary custody of my daughters. On the day of the signing, Olivia looked haggard and old. As she shakily signed the divorce papers, I suddenly realized that this woman who had once haunted me, now it's just a stranger. "We could have had a great future," Olivia whispered as she left the courthouse. I looked her in the eye and calmly replied, Yes, we could have. But that takes both of us, not the sacrifice of one and the betrayal of the other. The moment I walked out of the courthouse, I felt a sense of relief that I had never felt before. The sun splashed on my face, and I took a deep breath as if it was the first time I had really breathed in years. I know there is a long road ahead, and I need to rebuild my life and take care of Emma and Sophia. There may be work challenges to face as well, but I'm not afraid anymore, because I know that I have the courage and strength to face whatever difficulties come my way. That night, I moved into our new home with Emma and Sophia. It's a cozy 3-bedroom apartment, not quite as big as our previous house, but full of hope and new possibilities. As we sat together in the living room of our new home, sharing pizza and laughter, I felt a happiness I hadn't felt in a long time. I look at my daughters with a happy twinkle in their eyes, and I know that our new life has just begun. Lying on my bed in my new home, I think back on this time with gratitude. Thank you, Jessica, for giving me courage, Nathan for support, and Emma and Sophia for strength. I know that it was because of them that I was able to get out of the haze and embrace a new life. Tomorrow, the sun will still rise. And this time, I will embrace that bright future as a new me. The post-divorce period wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Although free from the mental stress Olivia brought, I still had to deal with the various challenges of single fatherhood. Emma and Sophia, although supportive of my decision, were undoubtedly traumatized by the divorce in their young minds. I often hear Sophia crying late at night or see Emma sitting by the window alone and staring. I decided to move closer to my daughter's school in order for them to adjust better to their new surroundings. With Jessica's help, I found an apartment in Bellevue in a beautiful setting with a great school district. On moving day, Emma and Sophia excitedly went around exploring their new home, and I looked at their big smiles with hope in my heart. However, work challenges followed. News of the divorce spread quickly through the company, and I found myself the center of attention in the office. Some of my coworkers gave me sympathetic looks, while others secretly gloated. What I can't stand is that Ryan Thompson seems to have gotten worse at flaunting his victories in front of me. One day, during an important project meeting, Ryan belittled my proposal in front of everyone. "Ethan, your ideas are so outdated," he said contemptuously. "Maybe you should focus on your work. Instead, it's a family chore." Everyone in the room laughed, except for my immediate boss, Mark, who silently frowned. At that moment, I decided I couldn't go on like this. Not only do I have to prove myself, but I have to make those who look down on me pay. I started working twice as hard, often working late into the night. I researched the latest technology trends, came up with innovative solutions, and soon made my mark on several important projects. At the same time, I started secretly planning my own business. In my spare time, I have developed a revolutionary piece of software that can greatly improve the operational efficiency of a business. I shared the idea with Nathan, who was immediately intrigued by the concept and offered to invest. "Ethan, this could be your chance to turn the tables," Nathan said excitedly. "But you have to be careful not to violate your non-compete agreement with your current company." With Nathan's advice, I moved forward with the project cautiously. I got a couple of trusted ex-colleagues on board, and we worked in secret on weekends and evenings. After months of hard work, our software was finally developed. It was at this point that the company announced it was laying off employees. My name is listed and Ryan Thompson will take my place. I knew that this was the opportunity one had been waiting for. Instead of complaining or pleading, I accepted the decision calmly. At the exit interview, I politely thanked the company for the opportunities they had given me over the years, and then turned around and left, leaving the HR manager with a confused look on his face. The next day, I officially launched my own company, Phoenix Solutions. I chose this name because I feel like a phoenix, reborn from the ashes. Our software caused a sensation in the industry as soon as it was launched. Many companies, including several key clients of my former company, have expressed strong interest in our products. In just a few short months, Phoenix Solutions has achieved phenomenal success. Our client list continues to grow, and our company is expanding rapidly. I had to rent an entire floor of office space to accommodate my growing staff. I met Ryan one day at a tech summit. He had come up to me all high and mighty, trying to laugh at my downfall. But when he saw that my name tag said CEO, Phoenix Solutions, his face froze. "Looks like you're having a good time, Ethan," he said with a dry smile. I looked at him calmly and said, "Yes, Ryan. Sometimes it's a blessing to lose something instead." Then I turned away, leaving him standing there alone with shock and remorse written all over his face. And Olivia's situation is deteriorating. I heard from Emma that Olivia can no longer afford to maintain her lavish lifestyle. She had to sell most of her luxuries and move to an ordinary apartment. Ryan had long since abandoned her, and her so-called friends had stayed away when she lost her halo. One day Olivia called me out of the blue with a sob in her voice. "Ethan, I need money. I'm at the end of my rope." I was silent for a moment, then said, "Olivia, we're divorced. You have to learn to live on your own." "But," she sobbed, "could you bear to see the mother of your children fall into such a state?" I took a deep breath and replied, "I will continue to pay my child support on time for the sake of the children. But other than that, you'll have to figure it out on your own. Olivia, now is your chance to reconnect with yourself and rebuild your life. Don't waste it." I felt a wave of mixed emotions as I hung up the phone. I'm not happy about Olivia's situation, but I know it's probably a necessary part of her growth. Just as my career was flourishing and my life was getting better, I met Anna. It was at a tea break after Emma's dance performance, and Anna was the mother of another girl. She came over with a cup of coffee and smiled. "Your daughter is a great dancer." Anna is the owner of a small sweet store with a warm smile and wise eyes. We chatted about everything from the kids' hobbies to their respective work experiences. There was a flash of surprise in her eyes when she heard I was the CEO of a tech company, but it was quickly replaced by curiosity. "That sounds like fun," she said, "but I still prefer working with flour and frosting." I was amused by her sense of humor, and before I knew it, we had been talking all afternoon. When we parted, I plucked up the courage to invite her to dinner, and she readily agreed. Over the next few days, Anna and I grew to know each other well. Her kindness, independence, and love of life captivated me. I love watching her busy in the kitchen and hearing the stories behind each dessert. Slowly, I began to believe in love again. Emma and Sophia also love Anna. At one point, Anna taught the girls how to make cupcakes, and the kitchen was filled with laughter. Watching this heartwarming scene, I felt something melt in my heart. 6 months later, I proposed to Anna at one of our mutual favorite beachside restaurants. Anna's eyes glistened with tears as I got down on one knee and pulled out the ring. "Ethan," she whispered, "you made me believe that true love exists." "I do." We had a simple wedding, inviting only our closest friends and family. Emma and Sophia were our flower girls, and they wore beautiful dresses and had happy smiles on their faces. As I held Anna's hand and made my vows in front of the pastor, I felt a gap in my life being filled somewhere. I knew that I had finally found true happiness. My new family has given me endless strength. I have taken my career to the next level, and Phoenix Solutions has become a well-known and innovative company in the industry. The next generation artificial intelligence system we developed caused such a sensation that the company's market capitalization doubled tenfold in just 2 years. My heart is filled with gratitude as I look at the family portrait on the office wall. Life has given me a second chance, and I cherish what I have now. I know that whatever challenges await me in the future, I will have the courage to face them all as long as I have Anna and the kids by my side. Time flies, and before I know it, I'll be 50 years old. Phoenix Solutions has become a giant in the tech world under my leadership, and our AI technology has changed the lives of countless people. But for me, the greatest achievement has not been a brilliant career, but finding true happiness. On my 50th birthday, Anna surprised me. She took me to the Sunshine Coast of California and stopped the car in front of a luxury villa on a cliff. "Happy birthday, honey," she smiled. "This is our new home." I looked in amazement at the sight before me. The azure Pacific Ocean shimmering in the sunlight. The warm ocean breeze caressing the leaves of the palm trees. A modern-style villa sits on the edge of a cliff like a jewel. "Anna, this is great," I said excitedly, "but do we really need a house this big?" Anna smiled and said, "Of course it's needed. Emma and Jack are coming for their honeymoon. Sophia says she wants to have her wedding here, and—" She paused, a sly glint in her eye. Our little Lucas needs a spacious place to grow up too. I froze for a moment, then asked in surprise, "You mean we're going to have our own child?" Anna nodded, a happy smile on her face. I hugged her tightly, feeling overwhelmed with happiness and gratitude. And with that, we moved to the Sunshine Coast. Every morning I watched the sunrise from my balcony, listen to the sound of the waves, and feel the endless possibilities that a new day brings. Today is a special day. Emma and her husband Jack came to visit with our granddaughter Lily. Sophia and her fiancé came along, and our youngest son Lucas was playing with Lily in the backyard. As I watched this happy scene, I couldn't help but get lost in thought. Sitting on my balcony, I looked back at the past. The pain, the betrayal, the struggles that were once there now seem like a distant dream. I think of Olivia and wonder how she is doing. The last time I heard from her, she had kicked her luxury addiction and was working for a nonprofit organization, help women who are in trouble. Despite all that has happened between us, I truly hope she finds inner peace. Ryan Thompson comes to mind as well. After the success of Phoenix Solutions, I had met him again at a tech conference. By then he had lost his old arrogance and instead looked a bit rushed. I offered to say hello and even invited him to visit our new office. Seeing his surprised expression, there was no smugness in my heart, only a sense of relief. I've learned that true victory is not about defeating others, but about surpassing yourself. I can't help but smile when I think back to the early days of my business. At the time, I had a vengeful mindset, thinking that success would heal all the wounds. But now I realize that true healing comes from inner forgiveness and growth. Every setback is a learning opportunity, and every betrayal is an examination of self. My eyes fell on Lucas, who was frolicking on the beach. His innocent smile reminds me of my own childhood. My father's departure had left me deeply hurt, but now I understand. Everyone has their own weaknesses and helplessness. I no longer resent my father or blame my mother. Their stories have taught me to appreciate the happiness that is right in front of me, and to love my family to the best of my ability. Anna walks over to me and gently puts a hand on my shoulder. "What's on your mind?" she asked gently. I took her hand and smiled, thinking about our journey through life. "Anna, thank you. Without you, I may never have known what true happiness is." Anna leaned down and placed a soft kiss on my forehead. "We made each other, Ethan. You taught me courage and strength, and I hope I gave you warmth and understanding." I stood up and looked out at the distant horizon with Anna. The sunlight pours over the sea and sparkles, just like our lives, with both ups and downs and glitter. "Grandpa, Grandma," Lily's voice came from the beach. "Come on, you guys. We're going to build sand castles." Anna and I smiled at each other and held hands as we walked towards the beach. Emma and Sophia were already there. They were helping Lily and Lucas collect shells to decorate the sandcastle. Watching our extended family together, I felt a sense of completeness and happiness that I had never felt before. At night, when everyone was asleep, I sat alone in my study and began to write my memoirs. I want to document my experiences, my epiphanies. Maybe one day, it can give some inspiration and strength to someone who is going through a difficult time. "Life is like programming," I wrote. "You encounter countless bugs and errors. But if you don't give up, you can always find a solution. Sometimes you may need to remove a large section of code and start over. It's like I'm giving up the past, but it is this reframing that has made my life more stable and productive." I went on to write, "Most importantly, never forget to update your software. Learn new things, embrace new ideas, and keep an open and curious mind." It's this attitude of constant renewal that keeps me grounded in the tech industry. It has also gotten me farther along in life. As I write this, I stop writing and look out the window at the moonlight. I think of that self struggling in the rain in Seattle, that self tormented by betrayal and deception. If I could go back in time, I'd like to tell the person I was then, "Hang in there, a bright future is waiting for you." Life never ceases to surprise me. Just last month, I received a special email. Is a young programmer who joined our company through Phoenix Solutions internship program. In the email, he said my story inspired him and gave him the courage to pursue his dreams. I felt a special kind of satisfaction after reading this email. I realized that my experience had not only changed my own life, but could affect others as well. This reinforces to me that sharing my story was the right decision. Tomorrow, I'm going to start a new day. I will continue to run my company, take care of my family, and enjoy this hard-earned happiness. But more importantly, I will strive to be a better person, one who is grateful, forgiving, and loving. It was late at night, so I closed my laptop and walked out onto the balcony. The sound of waves came softly in the distance, and the night sky was dotted with stars. I took a deep breath and felt the beauty of life. Yes, life used to hit me hard, but it's those setbacks and challenges that have shaped me into the person I am today. I don't regret every moment I've experienced because they've all been an integral part of my life. Tomorrow, the sun will still rise. I, on the other hand, will continue my life's journey with a new attitude. Because I know that with hope and love in my heart, life is always full of possibilities. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.